Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bacon is My Podcast. And today we have our first guest with our table.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have the new table. Sir Isaac Newdesk has joined us.
Yep. And so we have Miss Luna Gray, recording artist,
Yes.
who is also independent charting artist.
Yes. Independent charting artist.
Like, for real?
Hip hop artist. Pop artist. Girls doing everything right now.
Content.
Yeah.
It's all about the
Content
content.
queen right here. So, Miss Luna, we definitely tried to classy up the place for you.
Yes.
Very
so thank
nice.
You.
Looks
thank
fantastic.
You for joining us.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
Thank you for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. As I was just mentioning, I've been catching up on lots of sleep in the last 12 hours. I'm incredibly sleep deprived. Probably will be for the rest of my life. So every moment I can get, I take advantage.
I gotcha. What are your thoughts on napping? Are you able to nap, or are you not?
I don't got it in me. I mean, the only time I nap is when I just pass out from exhaustion.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's pretty much what I would call a nap. It's just like my body just completely shutting down. I never voluntarily take a nap. Let's put it like that.
See, I love naps. I love like weekend naps. If my wife and I can get the kids to like shut up for a little while, just throw them in front of the TV. Nice Saturday nap.
See, that's what it is. I think
I love the idea of naps. It's a great idea. I can never shut my mind off. So it's like, naps are out the window.
I'm the same. I'm with you.
That's what this is for.
I could never do it either.
That's what this is for.
I could never do it. Yes.
There you go.
I could never do it either. Now, speaking of that, now you have a cannabis company. Did I do that right? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I had the hardest. I caught up on a couple interviews with you where you like slyly mentioned it, but I never caught the name of the company. Like are you under radar on purpose, or like I don't want to blow up a spot for you right now? I need it's legal and you're doing really well. So it's like, come on.
We actually just, I'm sorry, my apologies. My apologies for that. We actually just got licensed out in Cali. So that we're actually transitioning to Cali. We do have some things going in Chicago as well, but we're expanding globally to multiple countries, cities. I mean, we're going everywhere. But the biggest thing right now is transitioning and expanding into Cali, and then soon New York as well. I don't talk about it too specifically because it's one of the things that, I've been building it for so long, and I really wanted the work to speak for itself. I didn't want to have to tell people like, I'm in cannabis, and they're like, oh yeah, well, we'll believe it when you see it or whatever. I just figure, we have such a big company built. We're gonna shift the culture so much, and we're connected to so many humongous brands and companies in cannabis that we're truly gonna shift a lot of the industry, and I want that to speak for me. So I do talk about it occasionally. I do a lot of cannabis heavy things. But I don't speak about that because it's going to speak for itself, especially in the next 6 to 9 months.
That's amazing. That's good for you.
So what is it called?
Well, we have many different sectors of it. We have Apothecary 312, which is Chicago established. We have Mino, which is Money Is No Object, which is a very bougie baller brand of cannabis that everything is very just off the wall, just no money is no object. That's the whole point of the brand. So that's for all the ballers and the very high level shoppers, I guess.
It's a fantastic market to get yourself into.
Yeah. And it works. It's a great cross brand with the music as well, obviously. So music is why I do everything I do, but cannabis was also a passion of mine, and obviously it's just now becoming a much more acceptable thing than it was, but it was always a passion of mine. And I always saw, you know, the future, like many people in the industry, we saw the future. We saw how this was going to play out. And I was lucky enough to get in at the right point where I was able to get my feet in the sand and start working towards it, so that now when it is legalizing almost everywhere and it keeps with, you know, it's becoming a normal everyday thing, I'm already where I'm at, you know, in the process. So I'm very lucky and blessed to have got in when I did.
You can go to market like right away. I know New York's been threatening it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And
someday,
maybe one day.
Someday. I need to after we get off this podcast, when we sign off, stay on for a second, and I need to maybe at least give you a contact. My brother actually works for a company in LA called Clade 9, and they're and that's what they do. He's in cannabis, and he's a organic chemist, and he's designing and growing, and
so he's a ghost. Okay.
That's
awesome.
So he's working out of LA, and he's working out of Vegas as well, and they're kind of all over the place, and they're growing like exponentially.
So does he like specialize with genetics or anything along those lines?
Yes.
Or
Yep.
see, that's a very valuable role in it all. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. He's been able to do a lot with it, which has been amazing. So
that is amazing.
After we're done here, I'll
okay, cool.
I'll talk to you a little bit more about that, because that's awesome. I like hooking good people up with good people, and especially entrepreneurs and people with hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you, as someone that is quoted as saying, all I want to do is smoke weed and rap.
Ask my mom. Oh my gosh. that was, I don't remember what interview or where you found that, but I know I've said that in my life at least twice. So
right.
I'm just kidding. Probably every day. Yeah, no, that's actually hilarious, because I remember, you know, I feel like I remember saying that when, you know, maybe like 8 years ago, you know, I mean, and I remember being like, all I want to do is smoke weed and rap. And it was like, well, you're just a complete, you know, load of crap for both of those at the time. It was like, well, God, am I disappointed? You know, it was like, but what do you mean, Mom? It's smoking weed and rapping. It was like, this is terrible. What have I done? I knew I should have not had children. No, I'm just playing. Now, I was the black sheep. I was the black sheep, but you know, they're at least accepting at this point at the best. So
that's so funny. Like, so your mom, how's your mom about it all now?
Well, she can't say anything about it. You know.
Well, right.
Because, I mean, it's funny because back in the day, it was like, you're smoking pot. It's going to ruin your life. Why are you cooking pancakes? Why are you cooking pancakes at 4 a.m.? Chocolate chip pancakes at 4 a.m. You must be high. You're a complete mess up, you know. And here we are, 5, 6, 7 years later, and now every time I see my parents, they're like, "You got any pot I can get off you?" I mean, every time, not just mom, but also dad. They both. It's a hilarious situation with that.
That's amazing.
Every time we smoke, every time I see them, we get high together now. It's like, look how life works.
Do you remember the first time that you got high with your parents?
I do. It was on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
before you ate.
Oh, smart move.
Good call.
Right. It was probably about 3 years ago, Thanksgiving of like, I don't know, whatever, like 2018 or 2019. That was our first time we smoked together, and it was very uncomfortable. And I was extremely paranoid the whole trip, because I'm just like, this can't be right. Like, because I was so used to, like, every time I was high and being around my parents, it being like a complete secret. I'm hiding it. I mean, I'm good at just being nonchalant, but I remember just every time I would be high, it would just be like, avoid them at all costs. Just like, don't let them, you know, don't offend, don't
right.
offend them, you know, don't.
No
offend.
eye contact. No eye contact.
No eye contact. Do I have Vicine? Do I have spray? Okay, cool. You know, and then I'm just sitting there, and my mom's just tweaking her ass off, and my dad's just falling asleep, and I'm just like, I have nothing to hide now. Like, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Good.
It's so funny because I'm not I haven't like partaken a lot or anything like that. But the first time I was high with my parents was at an Aerosmith concert, and we got such a contact high. It was funny because like it was maybe 2 hours later, and we were all standing in the kitchen. So we live right by, very close to the Jones Beach Amphitheater, which is an awesome theater in Long Island, and it's on a beach, and it's
right
an
on the
outdoor,
beach, right on the water, big outdoor.
It's just
theater.
great. So we're sitting around in my kitchen, and my mom's just like, "Man, I'm really hungry. We should get some something good, like Taco Bell or something right now."
Something good
And-
like taco.
Classic.
Then you
And I was
know.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
something
Wow,
good like
I'm-
Taco Bell.
I'm
Taco Bell goes-
legit high with my parents.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I remember first time I got high with my dad was when I was I think I was 19, and we were in the car, and he told me to get something in the glove box, and I opened the glove box, and he had a little hitter in there, and he was like, "You're old enough," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, you didn't know me and mom smoked?" And in my mind, I'm like, "You remember that time all your weed disappeared?" I sold it. Like I said,
Oh my god.
and
That's even
like,
crazier.
yeah, I did, because I knew he couldn't ask me, because if he asked me, he had to admit he had it.
Right.
I put that together. I was like, yeah, and he was like, "Did you take anything out of my closet?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What would I have taken?" You know. But so we smoked in the car, and the first time I got high with my mom, I don't think was weed. I think it was mushrooms, actually.
That is so next level. I'm like,
And yeah,
so
my
impressed.
my band was on tour, and we went through Indiana, and so whenever we go on tour, we do, like, when we do Chicago, Ohio, Ohio, Illinois, that loop, right?
Mhm.
Indiana, we go to do that, and so we stay with my parents the whole time that we're there, and we just kind of pop out from each place. And my
Right.
mom loves it. She loves having us there. She's always been kind of band mom. And my brother brought a bunch of mushrooms, and we just all just like ate them all immediately. And I just remember standing in my kitchen, and my mom was next to me, and she was like, "Are you feeling anything?" And I was like, "I got to get away from you."
And you know what?
It was
Willie
amazing.
is amazing. His mom is amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing
That's
people.
great.
But yeah, I can imagine her being a little too intense for, like,
It was
okay,
fantastic.
I'm messed up right now. I need to.
And
May
we
I
have,
ask? May I ask how many mushrooms you consumed? How much you consumed? Do you know?
I don't know. My brother grew them that year.
Okay.
And so he had a big Tupperware full, and we just kept taking handfuls. So
Oh
I
my
consumed
God.
many throughout the entire night. It was a good 2-day excursion at that
Oh,
at
wow.
that time. We were in a safe place. We had a fire pit. We were good. We had a grill, a fire pit. We cooked ribs for about 24 hours and never ate them.
Oh my.
It was great. We spent hours looking at leaves. It was great.
That's awesome.
But so that whole what you're talking about, like smoking with your parents that first time, that's why I asked, because I was like, that first time is always that weird little head trip, because you're like, man, I've hid this from you for so long,
Right.
and you've told me that this was wrong for so long.
Literally, that it's wrong. Right.
We're both full of shit here, so at least we're on
Yep.
an even level.
At least it's out in the open. It's out in the open. Let's move forward from here. You know.
So that's cool. And they can't say anything to you now, because I mean, 5 years, that's a short time to be pretty successful with it. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
and for them, I mean, they're just, their parents. They're from a different era of that, and so they looked at it just, I remember I bartended for a while, and I remember before I started bartending, I was like, you guys, I want to get my bartender's license, and they were, and like my mom was kind of like, but I guess my dad was just like, no, don't let her get that shit. Don't get a bunch of,
Right.
And then I through bartending met my, associates in cannabis.
Mhm.
So it all worked out.
Bartending is excellent networking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been doing
Fantastic.
it for a number of years myself. So I'm
Yeah.
right there with it. Parallel lives, girl.
Yeah.
Parallel lives.
It really is. It really is.
That's awesome. So I also understand that your name, Luna Gray, you got your name, or maybe not got it from your mom. I mean, you got every name that you got from your mom,
Right.
but you adopted that name from your mom.
Yeah.
Is that like but her name's not Luna?
Right. That's actually my mom's nickname. My mom's nickname is Luna. So, you know, that was her nickname. And she just always like would have moons hanging around the house, and like, you know, her email addresses would be like Luna, and like it would just be, so I always was just seeing Luna, 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 and then I was seeing these moons, and I've always been a night person to like another level. Like I'm not a morning person. I'll make it work, but I really truly despise it. So until I'm up and the birds are chirping and I'm like, wow, look at me, I'm so productive. You know, it's like, but
You don't have to say that. You don't have to say that. Like, mornings suck. I get you.
they suck. Once I had my coffee,
Right.
at least it's over with. The worst is over, but still,
it's bearable.
Yeah, I figure it out some way or the other. So, but nights, like I stay up really late every night as well. So I'm just a night person. So Luna just fits me. It's me. I mean,
that's awesome.
That's it.
Was that like a conscious thing when you first decided to start doing music and you first decided to get into hip hop? Was that a conscious thing? Like, I'm going to change my name. I'm going to do this. I have this plan. I have this idea. Because you seem like a person that, like, looking at your videos, looking at the things that you do, everything looks very calculated.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm definitely a very calculated individual.
Okay, so
I mean that in the best of ways, of course.
No, I do too.
No. That's the way to go. That's the way to do things, because if you don't have a plan, that's what a lot of musicians don't realize.
Yeah.
Is that all these bands that you idolize or artists that you idolize, everything they've done to achieve success has been a calculated like move.
Right.
It's not, you know, and now, you know, you're an independent artist. We're independent artists. Now we have to know those moves for ourselves. So
right.
Yeah, there has to be hustle. There has to be a plan. There has to be, you got to chart it out. If you're going to get anywhere, you got to know where you're going. So that, I'm assuming that was like pretty early on for you when you kind of decided you wanted to do it. What was your kind of like way of getting in, and how did that come about?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. Well, I'll first start off by, so with the name, I actually had another name before Luna Gray.
Will you share it or no?
Yeah, I will share it. It actually was given to me. This was not I did not come up with it. And it was specifically for when I started off, I only rapped at the beginning. I started becoming more melodic and as I progressed, and that's now more so what I do. But when I first came in, it was really just raps, because I came from poetry and started rapping and started spitting, and that was where I was. So the name was Baby Flame. And I also had bright red hair, fire truck red, bright red hair. So it really fit me a lot at the time.
Right.
Baby Flame is really cute as a rap girl, but as a sophisticated artist such as myself, I needed to expand from there. But so I also was modeling and acting, and I'm thinking about, like, I do a runway show. What am I gonna say? All right, Baby Flame coming down the, like, it's just like, right. I needed something that was just more, covered the full spectrum of of the industry and entertainment and what I do. So Luna Gray. Like,
around I don't want to ask how old you were at the time, because that's like that's a shit question. Do you feel like you were very young at the time when you decided that? Because that's a pretty advanced thing to think about, to go like, well, this name has a shelf life, or this name puts me in a box. And I mean, a lot of times when you're first coming in, man, anything that you get is like, let's just do it, But to think that far ahead, like, do you feel like you were young to be thinking that far ahead? You're very young now to be doing everything that you're doing anyway. Yeah. So it seems like you kind of like had that plotted out for yourself.
Yeah. I did it, and I feel like, as far as my journey in music and the things I do, it was almost like I already saw it, like, I used to have visions about who I was going to be in my life and what I was going to create for my future. And I always saw this vision of Luna Gray. But I mean, even before Luna Gray, even before, when it was me just rapping, I always saw this vision of me being someone that could inspire people to another level. And because of my story and because of my past and things I've experienced, I felt like, I do have a story that not a lot of people have gone through. So I felt like I could be a beacon of hope for people. So at first it was cute and it was fun, but then it became more serious, and me wanting and knowing that my story needs to be taken seriously. And I just, I'm a professional minded person. And so, I just naturally, I just knew that I needed something that could last, could be timeless, but could still fit. That's how that came about. It was bigger than just, it was everything, in mind. It just made sense.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
So you talk about your story and everything. Some of the things I always look for and find interesting in artists is like when you were kind of starting out, did you find that it was easier or harder for you to get that support system and to start getting the support of other people, or did you find that there were roadblocks? I mean, you're in hip hop and you're a blonde and you're a model and you're a white girl and you're,
I'm a box blonde, but it doesn't make it much better.
Doesn't make it. It doesn't make
it
it
doesn't matter.
No, but I'm saying, I have my girlfriend is in a punk rock band, and they tour all over the country and they work their ass off and everything. And the one thing that they always get is, man, you guys are really good for girls. And it's like, man, how go to hell, for a girl, like you're just good. You're good for the style of music, for anything that you do. What was your experience kind of coming into like the hip hop game with that? We're unfamiliar with that world. So what was that like for you, and how did you either kind of like ride that wave or did overcome certain things? What did you find?
Yeah, when I first started making music and started rapping, that's a very real thing that I go through and that's around me, and that those judgments and those, that viewpoint exists, and that's a thing. It's relevant. But, when I was started doing music, this was not something I was looking at, because I knew that I had to tell my story the way that I knew how. And, I don't think that it just didn't matter what people thought, because it truly was like a coping mechanism for me and a survival mechanism. It was very medicinal. It got me through the darkest, deepest times of my life. I mean, it just when it's that deep, when it's really like life and death for me getting through my days, all that goes out the window, and I was aware of some of the ways that people would feel about it, but it just, and it would be there, but it never really affected me or, slowed me down, because I know who I am and I know why I do what I do. So, but at the end of the day, I honestly, I'm actually incredibly thankful for the amount of support that I do get, because I think that real recognizes real, and I think people know when something is authentic, and I think that's why I'm in the place that I'm at, because my story is real. My journey is real. The talent's real. I mean, I put in the work. I mean, and I respect, the culture, and I respect where I stand in it. So I do face that. People do always say it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could just be a Disney Channel star, and they're gonna.
Right. They're going to find something.
They're going to say it anyway.
They're going to try and find something about you.
Me. I have to be me. I could be anybody in this industry, and I'm still going to face these same problems. So I'm going to do it the only way I know how. I'm not going to change up just to deal with the same things in a different platform that's not even me. I mean, it's going to happen regardless. So I can't. I mean, obviously there's levels to, things, but we're also in a different time. And you talked about the women thing, and that's also very relevant. I'm also very lucky to be, reaching this point with my career at a time when it is so respected to be a woman rapper and a female.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's so different. And a lot of people, it is what it is. They took a lot of that heat, early on. And that's why I respect so many female artists that came before me. But it's like, I'm blessed to be in a time when that people are looking at that different now. So I'm thankful. I feel like everything, happens for a reason. And I feel like, it's just more validation that my story is supposed to be told. So you're telling your story. Okay. Mm-hmm. So like, how does the writing because we're
we're from a modality where we're like, okay, I'm just gonna grab a guitar and go.
Right.
Right.
So
I
how do
keenly
you
understand the idea of writing something that I say it all the time. I tell people all the time when they ask about writing, I'm like, well, writing keeps me from jumping off a bridge.
right?
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's just the same all around, whatever style you're in, whatever thing you're in. But yeah, to what you're
But
saying.
yeah, so for me, it's only been the past like few years that I've really gotten into a little bit of like the electronic stuff and whatnot. But for me, it always starts at a guitar, and it starts with a melody in my head too. But for you, do you do a lot of your own, like your own instrumentals? I've worked with a lot of hip hop artists and stuff in the past where we just kind of like we throw something at them and then they're like, okay, well, I'm cool to express whatever I feel right now, and it doesn't matter what the feel is. They just pick up on it. But how do you go about with that journey and
your process?
That process, yeah.
I love this question. The thing about it, it's like I'm an artist, so I can create under a lot of different circumstances. And I pretty much, I mean, over the course of me creating music, I've created music in pretty much every form. I mean, I've co-produced. I actually did produce for a little bit. The only reason I stepped away from that is because I just felt like that world was I loved it so much that it kind of made me feel like I had to take a step back. Otherwise, I was going to get too deep in the rabbit hole of producing. That's really how much I enjoyed it. And I wanted to stay focused with more of the artistry and songwriting from the lyric perspective. But for me, mainly it comes from usually hearing sounds and just thinking about the way the emotions and the pieces of my story that I can express with that sound. Whatever, an instrumental or beat I'm hearing, I always can, for me, it's about venting and connecting to a part of my past, opposed to fantasizing or dreaming about something that could be. It's more about, connecting with the place I've already been. So a lot of real. Yeah. And I feel like I went through such a roller coaster of emotions throughout the process or throughout, my life, that it was just like, I can connect to most of the emotions that I feel or that I hear to a different time of my life. So I like to, kind of place my story, like that. I like to connect it through different beats and whatnot. But also too, there's also times when I'll just have nothing playing and I'm just going off of, melodies in my head and certain lines in my head. And I'm like, man, that's a great idea for a hook. And then I'll think like, okay, I need to find a beat that I can put this hook on that's going to fit and feel, and I can build off of. And, so there's so many ways that it happens. But I really enjoy co-producing as well, because then I'm still able to be involved in the instruments that are being used. I can still be involved in, that aspect of it, but I don't have to really worry about the technical aspect of it as much. So I do enjoy co-producing as well when I really want to make sure it's, 100%.
Do you work with a lot of the same people in terms of like, okay, these are the people I trust with the beats that I feel can bring out the best in me? Mm-hmm. Is that kind of how you work things?
Yeah, I definitely have my go-to people. That's with most things, but I also am a big cross collaborator, and that really is a big reason that's been such a big part of me growing as an artist, was collaborating with different people in different places. So that's never something that I cut out of the picture, but I do have and like to have, the team and around me that I do have. So I do have a team of people I work with consistently, my go-to people. But like I said, if I go to a new city and meet a great producer, of course, let's work. You know what I mean? It's just a great thing to keep expanding like that.
Now, as someone that has done co-producing and has done producing and things like that, when it comes to your own music, do you want to have as many hands into the entire beginning to end of the entire process, or are you kind of like, let me be the artist and let someone else produce, or let someone else engineer and then I'll jump in at the end? How do you kind of do that? Do you separate yourself from that? What's your method there?
Yeah, definitely preferred for me. It's like I want to tell my story the way that I want to tell it. That's the absolute preferable way of doing it. So that would be me, you know, finding the right beat, telling my story, writing it, recording it, and pretty much calling every shot. You know what I mean? And,
Right.
And a lot, in most, I mean, a lot of my, like most of my songs are that. Most of my songs are that.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna be releasing some new music soon, and those songs are songs that hands off, like it was just my project and my, you know, my babies, like just my soul being put into these from start to finish. But I'm also, you know, it's like the kind of thing too where I do have a team of people that I respect who are also talented and know what they're doing too. So I'm never too close-minded. Personally, this is my process to ever close my ears to someone's opinion or idea, because I feel like no one knows it all in anything they do, and that includes music.
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends on, you know, for me, it's like I want to tell my story, and I want to tell it the best way and most palatable way I can. So if something's not palatable and someone, you know, points that out and I recognize it, well then, yeah, you know, I would love to, let's find something better. So
what part of your, like, okay, so you're telling your story continuously, right? Through all of your songs, through your videos too. You're a very visual, very visual person. Your videos, I gotta say, like the production value on your videos and the quality of your videos is insane.
Thank you so much.
I was going through all of them and I'm watching them. I'm like, God damn, like who, like, are you, so before I get to the other question, the videos alone, like, are you conceptualizing the whole video as well? Like, is that all you? Like, you seem to very well know your, like, and I don't mean, when I say brand, I don't mean brand in a bad way at all.
Yeah.
Like,
but
you seem to know your brand.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't realize is that, like,
yeah, you say brand sometimes.
Branding
like,
is everyone's like, oh, branding.
That's beautiful.
So
That's key.
that's what you have to do.
Hey man, like, we write to not jump off a bridge. We put it out there for other people, and it's a brand. Like, that's what it is.
We brand it to monetize
part of it.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah,
but I notice, you know, your videos are so. I was about to say your videos are so visual, which is the dumbest sentence that I think I've ever almost said.
It's all that ranch soda you drank before.
Right. Yeah. But like, I'll just go for the video for Scars, right?
Yeah.
Just the concept of that whole video with you in the straitjacket and you breaking out of it and you underwater and you, like, the whole video is you fighting, at least from my perspective, it's you fighting to get out of whatever it is that's holding you down. And the lyrics are right with that, with like, this made me, but I'm still out and I'm still passing it. I'm still getting out.
Right.
So, so I guess, like, my question is, with all your videos, do you see that, like, as a conception from the beginning? Are you like, this is the story I'm telling, and this is the part of my story I'm telling, and here's how that works? And then to turn that around, your newest single, Big Boy, which came out in January, which is out now, is a very different video.
Right.
Right, compared to the other things, it's totally a different side.
Totally different side, yeah.
Right, so it's like, it's a complete other side, which is super cool, because you start seeing all these things that you're trying to find one thing in, and then it's like you go and you pull a left turn and you do something else, and it's like, oh man, now it's all visual and it's all this, and I'm getting a different message out of it. How much of that is, like, from the beginning, you know what you want, and how much of that is, like, as you're going through the process, you're figuring it out?
I think when it comes to visuals, most of that for me is figuring it out. There are concepts of things that, you know, I know even now that I know I want to do. So sometimes it'll be like, I know I want to do this concept. Where am I going to be applying that? What song? So sometimes it happens like that, and I have these things kind of built up, like this, you know, I just have like files of ideas I want to utilize. So sometimes it happens like that, and I'm kind of just pulling out my aces of spades as I need to play it, you know. But other times too, I mean, for Scars specifically, I didn't even, like, think about the concept. It was just like, I just knew, you know. It was like when I wrote that song, it was a very personal. That was a very personal thing that I was talking about, even though I didn't get too specific. So for me, it was like I knew that I wanted to tap into that, kind of crazy element with the Straight Jacket. And so instantly it was like, I want to be in a psych ward. I want to be losing my mind in a psych ward, trying to get free, feeling trapped. I knew I needed to represent that with that song. So the Straight Jacket thing was just like, just the songs recorded, listening to it, Straight Jacket, psych ward. Okay, that's what I should do.
Right.
And then I knew I wanted to do something with underwater because I just thought that would be so visually captivating. And then it's like you're underwater, just like even more, just like you can't breathe. You're suffocating still. You're suffocating.
Yeah.
You're just completely like.
It's a whole nother constraint. You're free with your arms, but now you're not free with your breath.
Right. So that was that. So that was just, that really represented me and the suffering that I went through in the periods of my life that I did. So that's one thing that I will say about my team too, that we always like kind of go like we have to give ourselves like, a pat on the back for certain things, because when it comes to visuals, we're so good at just putting together these amazing productions like in a day. It's like we'll be like, okay, like this is I want to do this song. Okay, I think we should do something like this. That would be dope. Okay, yeah, let's do it. And then we just start putting the pieces together, and we're just really good at just, I don't know. It's natural. It's just it's usually I don't.
You guys feed off each other.
I mean, yeah, but it's mainly just but the videographer usually, even with Big Boys, it was just like I just was like, the reason that I wanted to be a baby in that video, okay, is because I was creating an analogy between the song Big Boys. I play with the big boys, cashing out like Bitcoin, but like I play with the big boys. That to me was almost like, it reminded me of being a little kid, and like you're getting the kids meal, but then the kids over there are getting the mighty kids meal, and you're like, those are the big boys, those are the cool kids, they know what's really going on. So just kind of like looking at the big boys as if like I want to be with the big boys. It's kind of like it being like glorified or something. But then it became about me in my journey in cannabis. How I came in is just this little, just this little seed being planted, and then now I'm just like this whole fucking grow house. No, it's
right.
It's like so that was like the analogy in my mind, like being a baby and like having this and just being an infant, and then becoming like flourishing into this other entity, this complete stage 4 entity of who I am in cannabis. But it also just relates to a lot of things. I mean, even with my music and just breaking through those expectations of what someone like me could or would do with her career.
I like I noticed also Big Boy was the first song I listened to of yours, right? So it gave me
that's number 1 on Spotify.
It gave me
it helps a lot.
And I was like, okay. And I listened to the song, and then I watched the video, and I was like, and I thought that I had an idea of so I have an idea of what I'm in for, and I have an idea of who I'm talking to, and I have an idea of her. And then I started watching some of the other videos, and I was like, oh, I had no idea what I was in for, and I had no idea who I was. Because not only were the videos so different, but even your performance in them was so different. And I thought I'm glad you brought up the thing about being a baby in the video, because your vocal take in that song, you did a very childlike way of singing. I teach vocals also, so it's like I listen. It's unfortunate I can never listen to a song like a normal human ever again. But when I do hear it, like I'm analyzing singers all the time without even trying to, but I'm hearing what you're doing, and then I'm hearing you do, Lichen Scars was another one. That one just stood out to me a lot. Like that the video hit me in a certain way, and the song hit me in a certain way, and I really liked a lot of. I liked everything about it. Like it really kind of hit me, and I went back and watched that one a number of times because I was like, I liked the aesthetic of it a lot.
The visuals were very visual.
Very well, visual.
And they went so well. The visuals were very visual, right? And the lyrics were also very lyrical.
Oh, there you go.
Right, the words were wordy, and I believe the intent was also intentional.
Good. There you go.
I can do this all day.
I mean, I know you can.
No, but I really did like those 2 videos specifically. I watched everything but those two videos specifically were such a difference in performance, in mood, in visual aspect, and I like that when an artist can do that. I love when people can kind of wear different hats,
Right.
Yeah.
and they can decide like, okay, for this song, I want to wear this hat. I want to be this. I want to do this.
Right.
And they both still were very, like, even talking to you now, they're both very you, right? From my my intense knowledge of you in 45, 50 minutes.
Right.
They're both extremely you. I know you.
About as me as it could be.
Right. But you know, it's not like you hear them both and you go, oh, that's not the same artist. You know, or I liked her early stuff before she sold out, you know, like, and it's not like that. It's like, it's the same person and it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but you took on that character with your voice, and you took on, and then you brought that into the video, and then there was stuff in Scars where even your voice, there was a little bit of like franticness that started to kind of happen, and that was kind of going into the performance, and so it really fit visually, and that's why I was asking how long you kind of look ahead visually, because it's like those things happen to fit. They
so
just
perfectly.
did it, or it's like you knew ahead of time what you were going for.
See, and that's its own form of genius. You know, it's like I do that. My form of genius with it is like having it, and then still, without even having planned that, still figuring out how to make it something deeper even after, without even having to prepare. It's like because I can think like that lyrically and prepare the words for that, or I can think visually and prepare the visuals to fit around the words. It can go both ways,
right?
You know what I mean? So either way that it happens, it's, you know, it always works out. It always works out great.
Well, it leads me to another quote of yours, or at least that seems to be attributed to you, that I found that I liked. That was be a character, but have character.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that because it's like, yeah, put yourself out there in whatever way you feel like putting yourself out there, but no matter how that way is, you be real about it.
Yeah.
And you do it all the way, and you do it 100.
That's like the definition of like my brand. It's like in my head, like that's one way to summarize a big chunk of how I feel like my brand is. You know, it's about, because I'm very eccentric, and I like to be very out the box and off the wall, and I don't, you know, I think that's just, you know, based on not having the support in my career, not having people necessarily, you know, believing in me. Not that they didn't believe in me, but they just didn't support it, whether they believed or not. But just, you know, I think that attributes a lot to why I am so eccentric, because I didn't have the support walking in the door. So I really had nobody that was, you know, I didn't have anybody I had to, you know, I felt like I was trying to maintain a certain image for. You know, I was already walking in a free bird. So everything I did, I was just like, well, whatever. I'm just going to do it exactly the way I want it to be. And it's going to be extra, but you're either going to get it or you're not. And, you know, thank God that people are, you know, like me in the world, and that, you know, understands how it is to just want to live and be free.
Was there ever a point where you did feel like you were trying to fit a mold, and what was the thing, if there was, what was the thing that changed that made you go, no, I'm going to be the mold of me?
I think, yeah, I mean, not really like fitting the mold, but trying to maybe understand what this mold was and where it came from. Right. I think, because, you know, for me, it was kind of like, I mean, I knew they had an expectation of me, but I just, you know, for me, it was like, okay, well, I don't need to be in a mold. I'm just going to be me, and it doesn't really fit in a mold. So for me, it was like, I think people expected that of me. And so there was a time when it felt like I was realizing and seeing, you know, how people, you know, thought of the way, the artist that I am. And I would be like, man, there's some people that really just they want it to be a certain way, and they think that everything has to be. They always want to put a name on it. They always want to put it, you know, a label on it.
Labels,
and they want to understand it. And sometimes it's like I'm not doing everything I do to be understood. Sometimes it's about leaving it open for their interpretation. And, you know, as the listener or the viewer, but yeah, so as far as, you know, feeling like I had to, so there was the recognition phase where I was realizing what people were expecting of me or might be expecting of me. That made me kind of like double back, like, okay, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm respecting myself, but also giving something that people are still gonna understand to a level where they can relate to it. You know, you don't want to just be so off the wall that people are just like completely thrown off by you. So It was like pulling back and kind of like, okay, how do everything's going to be relevant at some point. So I want to make sure everything I'm doing is going to really always connect to me. You know, it's always going to make sense for my brand. So that was a phase where I did some pulling back in that way. Just getting the branding right, just straightening it up and just realizing like, okay, well, that's not really the way I want to go with it, but this is why I do it. So I need to go this way. You know, there's lots of forks in the road. So I think that it really came down to just taking those certain routes. You know, it was never like being in a certain mold. It was just me realizing what mold works for me, but also, you know, by breaking free of it as needed. You know, it's like, that's how I look at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How much of success do you think is for whatever success that you have plus whatever success that you want? As far as what you've learned so far, how much of success do you feel is having a plan and following it? And how much of it is being able to abandon your plan and roll with it?
Honestly, at the end of the day, it's all about being adaptable. I mean, it's all of life is about being adaptable, because we don't know what the hell is going to happen today, tomorrow, even yesterday. Sometimes it's like we don't know what's going on. So I mean, obviously, like for me, it's like there's certain goals and things that I do want to accomplish. Of course, there's things I do want to do with my life and make sure that I check some things off. But at the end of the day, it is an open door of opportunity, and I'm never going to limit myself, and I don't know what's going to present itself that could take me in a whole different direction that might be even more beautiful than anything I could have imagined. I mean, I feel like a lot of my life has been like that. I would think of something like as being like, oh my God, like even with my career now, there are certain things I wanted to do that I thought like, oh, once that happens, oh, that's it. I made it. It's great. It's all wonderful.
I made it.
And then like passing some of those checkpoints and being like, you know, I think I'm just in it for the ride at this point, because we just, you know, it's just I don't know where it's going to take me, but I just know I'm going to keep going up.
I think that's so important, because so many people that are in our industry of entertainment, of music, they have this idea, and that's why I ask questions like that.
Yeah,
because I know
they have this idea of what success is.
Hearing it, they have this idea of what success is, and they have this idea of, you know, like a set a goal and then tunnel vision to that goal, and there's something to that. There really is. But the ability, and just like you said, the ability to pivot and the ability to be open to a new thing,
especially nowadays.
Yeah, we look at just what happened in the last year. We
Well,
didn't know.
so
we went from shows every week and touring and ready to put out things to who knows when you can play a show again. How are you going to do it? Let's make a podcast. You know?
Right. So that was another thing that we were wondering, like before this, are live shows a thing for you? Because that was how we made. That's how we made our fans. Our money is, you know, the music was kind of the advertisement for those.
Right.
Yeah, we're touring.
Now it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, I mean, no shows. I mean, I was performing all the time before everything hit the fan. But Yeah, no, it's been a big shift, a big readjustment. Because I mean, like you said, a big part of everything is performing. I mean, that's a big part of the income, the fans. I mean, it's the expansion, getting your face out there. I guess for me, that whole thing, it really allowed me to look at some of the back end stuff that was going on and find different ways on the back end to be improving my brand. So I'm actually grateful for this time to kind of perfect other things, but definitely different not being able to be out there and show my face in the same way. But luckily there are so many different ways that we've been able to pivot, so
Yeah.
I feel like I've been just as busy, to be honest, maybe even busier. I don't know if that's just a coincidence.
Right.
I definitely feel that too.
I think it was just going to happen anyways this year, and then I made it work. It's kind of how I look at it. Like I think it was supposed to be near this point regardless, and I think it was just like, it's crazy as well how many people that I know in the arts that I saw like do amazing things since this time, and so many people like fell away from it, and it's just crazy, how much everything has been affected.
Well, it speaks a lot to the adaptability of people, because especially with music, there are people who think that you promote live shows and live shows and live shows, and then you create a record, and then that's your crescendo.
That is the crescendo, right?
And then it's now it's like I create music because I love it. And that is the advertisement for the other stuff I do.
Right. Yeah. I had this conversation with my band recently where we're releasing a single coming up, and it's like, okay, what are we doing to release the single? What are we promoting? Are we promoting a single? Are we promoting a video? Are we promoting, we're promoting engagement. We're trying to promote, okay, here's a song. Hopefully this song will entice you to follow a channel and buy a t-shirt and like blah, 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 blah. Whereas music used to be like, here's a song, everything leads to the song. And now the song is like your advertisement for your brand for your personal connection.
It's a feeder.
So how would you describe, like, I know for a lot of people in the arts, like their fans kind of dictate so much, because you're always pleasing your fans and you're always trying to connect with your fans and and the people that follow you and the people that love what you do. Like, you can't replace that. That's the most important thing that you have. That's the most, I don't like to use the word commodity, but it's like, that's, if we're talking in business terms, they're like the commodity that you have. They're your thing. They're your audience.
Right.
So, like, your audience, how have you found, how have you been finding a way to still reach them during this time and to reach them in the same way, or how have you pivoted to kind of reach them in a different way?
Yeah, I've actually been having a lot of fun with that. I got my YouTube channel started doing videos about.
And what's your YouTube channel?
Well, I think you just have to search Luna Gray and it will pop up. I think that's.
And we'll put links.
Put links. Yeah, great. Send us links.
So I'll cover things in cannabis, as well as have things with my music on my YouTube channel. So that's been a great way for me to be able to keep engaged and my followers up to date and my fans up to date. But also I like to do comedy stuff. I like to do things that are funny as well. I did skits for quite a while, and it was kind of just busy work, but it was really just fun. And
I saw some of your TikTok stuff, which was pretty fun.
I mean, that's stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that's one of the things that I was just kind of like that, like, I saw some of the comedy stuff and I was like, wow, she's really fun. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
I get that.
And then I was like, oh wow, she does music too. That's pretty cool. I think we should probably check that out.
Yeah. I mean, the TikTok stuff, like, especially that's really a lot of busy work. But that's also why it's been nice to be in cannabis as well, because my thing is kind of like cannabis music, and I'm kind of funny, so it's like also like you want people to know you on a personal level. So I've just been finding new ways for them to get to know me beyond the emotion I'm putting out in the song or beyond the way I look in a picture, you know, or even on a video. They get to see like my personality more just on the day to day. So that's why the comedy stuff is so nice.
Yeah, that's something that we've been talking about a lot.
Yeah.
It's just like people are investing in people.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
And the more you get people to know you, the more they invest in you.
Right.
Well, and I know just on a personal level that when everything got shut down and the pandemic hit, I felt a responsibility in some ways to
for sure
to people that have supported me as an artist and our music and things like that. To find a way to reach them, find a way to talk to them, find a way to create something. And you've been doing a lot of that, which is super cool. A lot of artists kind of get stuck in that mindset of like, this is my one thing and this is what I am. And I really think that like an artist in today's age is not just one thing.
It's
you know,
really
like
not.
you said, you've got comedy, you've got music, you've got producing, you've got cannabis, you're kind of like this all over threat. You know what I mean? And
conglomerate, if you will.
Yeah. And I think that's important. That's a super important thing. And also letting people know who you are and what the hell you're about and know you genuinely is so important as well. You know, like the days of like an artist that is completely in the shadows and you don't know anything about them, that was cool. I liked it. I thought that was awesome. I liked not knowing anything and just you're creating this idea in your head of who this person is.
Right.
But I kind of think that era's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's possible to do that anymore.
I know what you're saying. I definitely know what you're saying. I feel like at first when I first was doing music, I feel like I was very mysterious. I wasn't I was really when I was really starting, I was still in a lot of that pain and that trauma. So it was a lot more of like a secret. I was so guarded, you know what I mean? I was so guarded. So it was a lot different to do that. But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm losing my train of thought here, but
it's all right.
Oh, I do it all the time. Yeah, it's cool.
We're drinking the whole show. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think well, that combined with some really, really strong cannabis over here did the job great for me.
Well, okay. So a way to get back on track is to support some of our sponsors.
Oh yeah, it's our sponsor time. So
it's our sponsor time.
Okay.
So we are sponsored by a company called Poddex.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And Poddex, what they are is they have these, as you see in front of us, about the size of a deck of cards. And what is on all of them are questions, interview topics, would you rathers, all the kinds of stuff. And they have this whole series of them. And they sell them for podcasters, and it's really great for people that are just kind of getting into doing this, that maybe have a hard time figuring out what to talk about, have a hard time when they have someone that they're going to interview, if they don't really know questions to ask. It helps you. It's like a helping hand.
When you don't have verbal diarrhea like we do.
Yes, indeed.
If
you've ever played the game Cards Against Humanity, it's very similar to that. I've said on the podcast a number of times, like I got a couple of decks over Christmas time when I was at home, and I just did them like with my family while we were getting high, and drinking, because that's what we do on the holidays.
They do.
But we just did that, and it's super fun because it also helps you kind of get to know people, and it's kind of anytime you can ask somebody something that they don't feel like you came up with, it's also like a guard down moment, and they just
that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
because it's not like what's your angle. It's like, oh, you read it off a card.
Right. There's no agenda. They're just drawing cards. Like
exactly. So
with that,
to ask you a question from one of our pod decks.
I would love to.
So we have the interview deck part dicks,
which actually has some good stuff.
It's got some pretty good stuff. We have the would you rather deck or the what the heck deck.
That one kind of freaks me out. I'm a little nervous about that one.
Your pick.
Oh, Let me go with number 2.
All right. So that would
Okay.
be the interview deck number.
So what we're gonna
Yeah.
do here is we're gonna pretend that Jimmy is gonna shuffle them.
But what I'm really going to do, because I can't shuffle, even though I lived and worked in Vegas, is I'm going to hand it over to Mike.
He's gonna hand it over to me,
And he's
because
going
I
to do
can
it near the
actually
mic, so
shuffle.
it's like an ASMR thing.
So
Nice,
yeah, I
nice.
do them near the deck. So one thing that you need to know is that you can go to poddex.com and enter the promo code BACON,
Yeah, best promo code ever.
best promo code ever. Yeah,
Get
is
10%, 10%
You get
off
10%
of
off.
your order. And if you order a bunch of pod decks, I think they do some deals every now and then you can also add bacon to it.
but they have some pretty good swag there too.
Yeah,
Besides the
swag.
decks, they actually
and
have
they'll
some
email
decent-
you like the dudes at pod decks are actually pretty awesome. They'll email you back. They talk to you. They have a great podcast. They also have great socials. So check them out everywhere.
All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna fan out the deck.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my.
He's gonna
You're
put
gonna
his-
tell me where to stop my finger.
All
You
right.
tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Stopping right here. Oh, all right. So it's a two-parter.
Okay.
You want to read it, or you want me to do it?
I gotcha.
It's a good one.
Oh,
It's a good.
this is a good one. All right, so Lunar Gray, what's the worst pickup line you've ever heard? And then there's a follow-up.
and the follow-up.
Okay.
What's the worst pickup line you've ever dished out?
Okay. This is so bad for the worst one towards me.
I love it.
It's,
Already.
it's bad. It's bad. It's not terrible, but it's hilarious. Okay. Damn, you got a stripper body. And he really thought he was gonna get my number after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
I mean,
something.
In a way, it was like, but I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't.
well, right.
was
It's
like,
not an
okay.
insult.
That's
It's
a
not an
nice
insult.
way. Like you
Not only
you
I
were
mean-
trying to be less crude than you probably would have been. So
Right. Now, as a I got to be honest though. There's a lot of different stripper bodies.
you're
I
not
mean-
talking about the lunch crowd, are
Yeah,
you?
There's a lot of
there's the Monday morning crowd.
Right.
That's a shift of its own.
Right.
And then there's the Friday night shift, and those are
That's
two
true.
very different stripper
Yeah.
bodies.
He probably right. He covered the bases. So
He
yeah.
just said, you know what, you got one. All right, cool.
got
All right,
So-
so then
you're
what
like-
did you dish out here?
Yeah, what was the worst one you've ever used?
Man, this doesn't even count because honestly, well, I gotta be real with you. I really don't make the move.
Mhm.
So
I'm sure.
I really don't. And honestly, it's not even because I'm like egotistical or like feel like I don't need to. It's actually just because I'm just really focused on work. Like it's like I'm not even like thinking about
Yeah.
that half the time. And that's
Um,
just the truth.
Talking to you
It's
for
sad.
over an hour, I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's sad-
You were a
it's
very
sad-
focused person.
Because my
You're
wife
very-
asked the same thing. She's like, "Oh, well, what do you do? Like, do you look at it?" And I'm like, "I just have so much shit going on. No,
There's a lot
like,
going on
like if you
here.
knew what was going on up here, like,
All right,
no.
so
Right.
instead of what's the best one you've ever used,
Okay.
what's the funniest one you've ever like heard and remembered?
Ooh, okay.
I mean, there's a lot of them. If I could change the alphabet, I'd put you and I together.
Actually, you know what? I did think of one. I'm sorry. I might have to back because there was one that I did kind of use once.
Oh, sweet. Give it to us.
It just, I said, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I said, damn, you look like my ex.
That's
But-
awful.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's a rough
But
one. That's
it's
not a
terrible.
winner.
It's terrible, but you'd be surprised because they were like, you dated a guy that looks like me? And so they
Oh,
actually
okay.
opened the door.
All
They
right, I can
realized
see
they might
that.
have and you would think it'd be the opposite, but
And-
but they took it the way that I intended it. They
That
did.
opened the door for slinging bad pickup lines at you.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
That's perfect.
I think that's great. What's your favorite bad pickup line?
Oh man, you know what? I don't even know.
Your legs tired? You've been running through my mind.
Yeah, that's a bad one. See, I just answer the phone in funny ways. That's my pickup line.
Same thing. You pick
Yeah.
up the phone and answer.
Yeah, I'll pick up the phone at work and I'll know who it is and I'll go, hey, Ghostbusters, what do you want?
Right.
That's my pickup line.
All right. All right. I think my my pickup line, I was always I've never been like a pickup line person. I've just not done that. If there's ever anybody that I ever wanted to talk to, I literally would just be like, "Hi."
Right.
That's it. I would just,
But that's
"What's up?"
that's how you talk
Let's
to
talk.
me on the regular.
Yeah, that's how I talk on the regular.
So
Well-
it's just yeah.
I'm just like, "Hi."
All right.
Well,
Does it
Loud
work?
loud
Does
and
it
in their
work?
face. Sometimes no.
Yes.
Actually, you know what?
yes, loud in their face.
It always works because it always gets a reaction.
Right.
And that's what that's what you really want is a reaction.
The reaction.
I never
Right.
I never cared about the yes or no, but if I got a reaction, that was always my favorite.
Uh-huh. That
Pause
it worked out well. It worked out well
Exactly.
then.
Exactly. It's never about you. It's about me.
Mhm.
All right, we're pausing. He's gonna pee.
All right. Cool.
So
Awesome.
How you doing? You
This
doing
is-
good?
Yeah, this is fun. This is great.
good. Thanks for sticking with us for so long. I mean, we normally keep it to an hour. We're about an hour 15 now. We can stop and get off at any time you want.
Okay.
If we go long, we'll just make it 2 episodes. We've done that with a few people too. I don't want to take up too much of your time. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
time's valuable, girl. I know.
Yeah. I mean, shit. At this point, I'm at the. I was napping all day. I'm drinking wine. I'm smoking a blunt. I would say I'm kind of chilling.
Nice.
It was a great day for this. It was a great day for this podcast because it was funny because I was supposed to be having a shoot earlier and it didn't even end up happening, so I caught up on sleep.
Oh, nice.
So I am very
A shoot for something of yours or doing acting?
Yeah, for something of mine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you doing so you said you're releasing some new music. Around when is that? Do you have a date for that yet? Is that something you want to talk about? Is that
Yeah, I think we should definitely go into that. I do have some dates for that pretty much ready right now. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
So he's coming back and we'll kind of pop right into that.
Cool.
What's that?
Oh, you'll find out as we do it.
Sweet. That's what we do here.
All right, so here's another edit point. So seamless transition because Mike did not totally have to leave to pee outside just now because but to tell you the truth, we did we have on our Patreon, we have a thing that we do called Tasting is My Passion. So we taste different things. Some of them are delicious, some of them
Most of them are awful.
truly awful.
Uh-huh.
But we do that on the tasting. And today we did sodas, and we had a pumpkin pie flavored soda,
Oh wow.
a ranch dressing flavored soda,
What?
and a buffalo wing flavored soda.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, how? So tell me about.
So
how
they
that
were
works.
labeled as such.
So yeah, this is what they were labeled. The pumpkin pie was cinnamony.
Great.
It tasted like the head on any beer you get in November.
Oh.
Right? It
That's
tasted
nice.
like that smells and taste. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
The ranch tasted like the back of a knee pad.
Oh,
After you were
What?
running around for like
It
4 or
was-
5 hours.
It was truly
Oh
awful.
my
One of
God.
the worst
the
one of the worst experiences in my mouth that I've ever had.
oh wow. That's terrible.
yeah.
Well, no.
really
You know what was terrible? Burping that back up
Yeah, that was
Oh.
pretty awful.
because it's soda.
Oh no.
And then after that we had the buffalo wing soda, which actually tasted like an extra bubbly Sunkist.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
with a little bit of like a kick to it.
Yeah, I think the
A
spice,
little.
like if you have spice by itself, it kind of does a similar thing to your tongue
Right.
that a lot of carbonation does. So when you drink it in a soda, I think it just makes you feel like the soda's extra carbonated because it dances on your tongue that same way.
Oh wow.
At least for me, it kind of was like that. There was no heat at all.
Right.
So that's why we've had a couple pee breaks.
Okay.
It's
That's
awful.
interesting. Yeah, I don't. The ranch one sounds terrible.
It's
Oh
truly
no,
awful.
it's truly terrible.
It came in a 6-pack, and the other flavors in the 6-pack were
Peanut butter and
peanut
jelly.
butter and jelly, which tasted like a strawberry soda,
Wow.
sweet corn,
Okay.
which made you feel like you were having a stroke because your nose smelled the inside of a can of corn while your mouth was tasting cream soda. So your brain was like, something bad is happening to us right now.
Right.
And so your body refused to accept it.
And then there was bacon,
and then there was a bacon flavored,
which was like
dog
treats,
dog food.
Oh,
yeah.
I had some Taco Bell that tasted like dog food once. It's been hard to go back since that one time.
That was probably dog food. They do weird things.
I think it was. I think it could have been.
Speaking of Taco Bell, I got a text from my wife that she was ordering Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is either amazing or is dog food. That's
depending on, I think it depends on the time of night. It depends on how long the drive-through line is.
True.
Also.
True.
Oh, I don't do drive-through lines. I go in every time.
You go in. I get Taco Bell at 2 a.m.
They'll always mess up your order on the drive-through.
That's true.
You always go in. You go in, you know how many, you count how many you have in your little cart there.
Right.
And then okay, when they come out, I got to go 1, 2, 3. And the other thing is, what I hate since the pandemic is I can't take handfuls and handfuls of mild sauce.
Yeah, that is
and Diablo sauce. Diablo sauce is a game changer, by the way. I don't know if you're into like spicy things or not.
Yeah, I love all the Taco Bell hot sauces.
Well, she likes the jalapeno chicken. And,
oh, that's right, the jalapeno.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Like I love the Diablo sauce. It's good. It's a multi-use kind of situation with that.
Yeah.
So Luna, in Chicago, I know a lot of apartment living in Chicago and a lot of delivery happening in Chicago. A lot of Chinese food happening in Chicago. Have you ever had a place that messed up your order every single time, but you still order because the food's so damn good?
Yeah, I do. I feel like most, like, a lot of times when I go to well, that's not even true though, because they do a pretty good job.
You gotta put she doesn't want to put a company on blast.
Yeah, you don't have to say their name. You don't have to say their name.
I mean, for me, it's like I'm just a really picky eater, so it's like I'm very specific in the foods I order. So a lot of times, like I'll want, like, when I get, I like to get I don't eat red meat, but I also, like, I don't eat burgers or anything, but I get Impossible meat, or I'll get chicken. But I don't like, surprisingly, like, I don't really like lettuce or tomatoes, even though I'm like, don't eat lots of meat. You think I would eat more vegetables. Well, that's not necessarily true.
Right.
So that people assume that, like, oh, well, she definitely wants the veggies. Well, I never, they always end up leaving the tomatoes or the lettuce on, but I don't really like lettuce and tomatoes on my burger, on my sandwich, on my tacos. If I want lettuce, I'll get a salad. And I like salad, but I don't want a salad on my tacos.
Wow.
That's two separate things for me. So
that's interesting.
Places have messed that up at some point.
I get that though, because if you get street tacos,
oh yeah, that's a different game.
From a cart or from a truck, from a taco truck, right? Usually you've got whatever your protein is,
chicken,
whatever it is, and then you've got cilantro, maybe,
onions,
and onions.
That's it.
Onions,
That's it. Maybe some cheese. So it's
not even cheese. It's not the grated cheese. It's the
it's the cochita cheese.
Yeah.
They're like the crumbled, delicious,
and it's awesome.
Amazing.
I love street tacos.
It is.
So I get that. I don't like tomatoes either. I'm a non-tomato person.
I don't like tomatoes at all. I
love tomato sauce.
Me as well. I like ketchup. Okay, I like tomato sauce.
I don't like ketchup either. So yeah.
Really?
Right. Yeah, I'm an anti-condiment. I don't know. I just
I'm the complete opposite. My wife and I we want a separate fridge for our condiments.
Right.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Similar. I feel similar.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's I had a bad experience as a kid, I think.
Yeah. Hey,
I ate something and I was like, nah, never.
Right.
But yet I'm not that picky of an eater. Like to the reason I asked that was because I just remember living. I used to live in Queens, and the apartment I lived in, we had a Chinese place right around the corner, and their food was so good, but they got every order wrong every time. So we would literally call them and just go, "We need 3 food."
Right.
And whatever they brought us, we ate, and we were like, we'd open it up and go, "Which one do you like best?" You know? And it would be like,
Right.
because they'd get it wrong anyway. So, and I've ordered food in Chicago, and I've had similar,
That'll
experiences.
happen.
Yeah, it definitely happens. I mean, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to bring it back around to music now because you have new things that are going to be coming out. So I'd like you to talk a little bit, if you can, about what you have coming out. You, again, you've said over and over again that your journey and your story is in your music. So what part of your story is in your new music? What are we looking forward to? What do we got coming? And when do we have it coming?
Yes.
So yeah, I've really been working on a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff, unreleased stuff right now. So I do have an EP that I'll be releasing in June.
Nice.
And I have Big Boys will be the first single that will be on that EP. The other 5 songs, it's 6 songs. The other 5 songs are unreleased, and I will be releasing a new track in about a month from now. So that will kind of set off the build up for the EP that will be dropping in June. Okay. So from now until June, I'll be releasing 2 singles, and then I'll be releasing my project in June. So yeah, and then I also have a couple of visuals coming as well. So that's really exciting. So that's kind of like my breakout project, where it's kind of like, this is me as an artist. People are going to get a really good taste and idea of how of the artist, of how they can expect what they can expect from me in the future as well, because this project is kind of like, for me, this is ideally this is my ideal sound. This is what I like listening to. A lot of the songs that I've made in the past, I like all my songs, but there's songs that I personally enjoy listening to more than others. So this EP is really like my favorite sounds. And so I'm really happy to have finally created a project where I really feel like I am encompassing the artist that I am so well from what I envisioned. So that's really exciting for me. I also have, like I said, a couple new visuals coming out that I'm really, really excited about. I mean, you were saying you liked, Scars, you liked Big Boys. These 2 are going to be right up there in that league and above. Nice. So
awesome. How would you describe the sound? Is it more varied to kind of going along with what you've been doing, but you say this is like yours, if you could describe yourself, it's you. Is it more in the line of what Big Boys is, or is it jumping off from there, or what do you got going on?
Yeah, I would say Big Boys is kind of like a standout track on that EP. Like, that one is definitely its own sound. Big Boys, it reminds me of the music that I started making when I first started music, just a more of a refined version of that, because I was heavy into trap and things that were more in that realm. Now I found myself, for the most part, to be just more of a hip hop, but a pop crossover, EDM sometimes, indie. I do lots of crossover stuff as well. But this project has a lot of ambience to it, a lot of atmospheric sounds, spacey sounds, but also has some 808s and some bass and some tempo throughout some of these songs, even while there's ambience as well. But then there's but then it builds, and so it's definitely a blend of ambience, but also tempo within my delivery and within some of the other instruments in the instrumentals and the beats. So I'm really excited.
I love
for
space.
People. Yeah, people are definitely going to have a lot better idea, I think, also of me as a person from a lot of these tracks too. I mean, every song I do is very authentic to me and parts of my journey. But this project, I think that they're going to get a better idea of just like how I view the world, maybe, opposed to like my story. It's a little bit more about like my mindset with some of it as well. So just like more of like a overlook of like how I view society and, you know, in the world. So I think it's going to be a great thing for me and for my fans to be able to connect with each other deeper in that way.
Oh, that sounds
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you said the first one is coming out in June, you said?
So the first single will be coming out in March.
In March. Okay.
So
nice. Oh, when?
End
Do you
of
have
March.
a date?
I'm gonna leave that toward the end of March. It's gonna be the end of March.
Okay. End of March. So
I will
again,
have
links.
an exact date confirmed soon. So that will be the second track from this EP, but the first track that I've dropped in, since this year started. So that will be great. And I also do have a visual coming before the EP drop as well.
Nice.
Cool.
So end of March, everybody look forward to. And also all links are going to be down in the description of this episode. So if you want to follow, which you should do,
yes,
and you should just keep track of everything that Luna Gray is doing, then you'll know. It's end of March, so you have something to look forward to. That's not far at all.
No.
That's like super close, especially when this airs. It'll be super close. It might be next week.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Who knows?
Cool. So Luna, where can we find all of your things?
So you can find all of my stuff on my website, thelunagray.com. So that's TheLunagrey.com. You can find links to everything there. And also you can keep up to date with me on Instagram at @thelunagray, as well as Facebook at @thelunagray. Those are my main platforms for updates and stuff like that. So
cool.
And she keeps track. She keeps in touch with her fans.
Right? Yes.
Keeps track of what's going on. She's got an active TikTok as well, and the tweets.
Yep.
The Twitter machine.
Girls all over
the place.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out the Twitter.
Yeah, we're working on it, but
we're getting there.
One of the things that I've definitely learned from speaking to you today is to keep that focus,
Absolutely.
and have that destination in sight, and everything needs to point there.
Are you trying to say that Luna's bacon is focus?
I think focus is her bacon. I also think persistence is her bacon. I think art is her bacon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
because you've been ending these guest episodes with
you are. Well, I try and find like one of the things, like we have our hashtag what's your bacon, but and bacon is my podcast and bacon is my passion, but the idea behind the whole thing is like, okay, in a funny way, like bacon makes everything better. It really does.
Right.
So what's the representation of your bacon in your life? What's the thing that makes your life better? What's your bacon? What's music is my bacon, movies are my bacon, creating is my bacon. And it seems for you, honestly, like creating and art is your bacon. Like
it is my bacon. Yeah, those are both definitely my bacon. Also, for me, I'm always focused on just growth, personal growth, growth with my career, of course, and then I also love to learn. So I think all of those things are my bacon.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say we had a really good interview with a motivational speaker. His name was Mark Miro. Name is Mark Miro. He's alive.
Yeah, he's still here.
He's still alive.
We want to have him on again. Relax.
Yes,
guy.
But one of his quotes is something that really stuck with me, and I've kind of used it and thought of it when I've talked to people since then. And it's a quote that can also be attributed to the late great Dusty Rhodes, if you're a professional wrestling fan, the American Dream. But what he said was, there's two kinds of people in the world. There are people that you like to see walk in a door, and there are people that you like to see walk out of a door.
Wow.
And Luna Gray, you have definitely been a person that I like seeing walk in a door.
Well, thank you so much.
This has been super awesome. Thank you for spending your time with us. Thank you for giving us your time. I think that all of our listeners, I absolutely gained an appreciation for you,
For sure.
and we'll check you out.
That's
and
awesome.
I hope they do. So all of you that are listening, if you're fans of us and you're fans of the show, go check her out. You owe it to yourself. This is a hard working, focused, persistent artist.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you owe it to yourself to check her out and see what she's up to.
And support her.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
come on. Like we're all independent artists, and that's what this is about. This is about supporting the art.
Yeah, we're all figuring this shit out as we go.
That's
We
all
are.
we're doing.
Such is life, you know.
Such is life. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you need to find Jimmy,
Yeah, if you need to find me, I am at Jimmy G's Shoes. Yeah, there's pictures of my shoes. I like shoes on Instagram. That is also my Twitter. My band Craving Strange is on Twitter and on Instagram, and cravingstrange.net, and everywhere else. Just Google Craving Strange and you will find us.
If you need to find
music,
me,
everything like that, find Mr.
I only have one pair of shoes, and I only wear one pair of shoes like for all of my life.
I like shoes, man.
Yeah, no, I like shoes. I have two. I have two
You
shoes.
should have two.
Yeah, I have two shoes. So yeah, you can see me, my own self, Mike, on all the social platforms. My band is Something Heavy, and we have, the Spotify's, the iTunes,
And then
all that
Bacon,
stuff.
Music by Bacon is My Passion, which is our side project together, which gave birth to Bacon is My Podcast. You can find on Spotify. Check it out on Spotify. We got a couple songs up there. We got songs and movies coming up, and we're going to be in a movie shortly. So find us, talk to us. But most importantly, we say all that shit every week, but most importantly this week,
Right.
Luna Gray, the Luna Gray everywhere. Find her, follow her, watch the videos, chat her up on Twitter, quote her, everything. If you want to get in touch with her, that's how you do it. If you want to get in touch with us, hashtag Bacon is my pod. Thank you guys so much for watching. Luna, thank you for being here. You are awesome.
Thank you so much for help.
Much.
Being here
Tonight.
My
You have been our bacon. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. All right. Well, I look forward to speaking to you guys in the future.
Absolutely.
All
right. So we're out. That's
Thanks,
us.
guys.
That's it.
We're
Bless
out. Thank you
up.
so much. Thanks for having and spending the time.
Absolutely. Take care.
Oh wait, the bumper.
Oh yeah, if you don't mind.
Could you do a bumper for us?
Sure.
This is Luna Gray, and you've been consuming Bacon is My Podcast.
All right.